on Tom's River Schools Today. We will take a look at your upcoming weather.
And as always, we will have a look at some of the events from around the school district. Tom's River Schools Today starts in 2 minutes.
The awful names at the stick. You're never gonna fit in much, kid. But if you're troubled and hurt, what you got under your shirt will make them pay for the things that they did.
The more you ignore me, the closer I get. You're wasting your time. The more you ignore me, the closer I get. You're wasting your time. I will be in the bar with my head on the bar. I am now a central part of your mind's landscape, whether you care or do not. Yeah, I've made up.
Hello and welcome to Tom's River Schools Today for Wednesday, January 29th. I'm Taylor Clevin.
And I'm Samantha Sicardo. Later on tonight, we will check out your weather and we will look into one special teacher's classroom.
But up first tonight, we will take a look at our elementary schools in our elementary happening segment.
Starting off our elementary happenings, check in with your main office to see about any upcoming shows.
A group of students traveled more than 9,000 miles to learn about the U.S. presidential race. They landed in Iowa to get a first look at how caucuses work. Todd Mangle reports.
Honestly, it has just been the most craziest thing being a part of it.
Simpson College is hosting more than 30 Australian college students who are getting their first look at Iowa and the presidential caucuses.
You do give us a bit safer. Yeah.
Today they stopped by the KCCI studios to hear how TV crews deal with the political spotlight.
The very heart of it, Iowans take this responsibility very seriously.
We've met every president and every presidential candidate since I started in 1983.
Some of our staff have covered the caucuses for nearly 40 years. These curious students are seeing it for the first time.
Just seeing how politically aware everyone else is here, it's just fascinating.
Grace Llewellyn and her fellow students landed in Des Moines Monday night and have been attending several rallies. Here they are with Vice President Joe Biden over the weekend. They say getting so close to the candidates is mind-boggling.
The idea that we all went to someone who could potentially become the president, we went to their rally and we saw them and we shook their hand and we said hello. That is honestly something that will never happen in Australia.
Australia voters only spend 6 weeks on their national political campaigns, and they rarely get to see leaders in person.
I loved Sanders. I thought he was extraordinarily captivating. He had so much more energy than Biden did, but I can't imagine him winning.
It is a really special time, particularly for people in Iowa, and we just don't have that same dedication back home.
The Williamsburg, Virginia Police Department has some new furry faces hanging around. It's all part of their Canine for a Day program, an effort to get sheltered dogs forever homes. The program has mimicked from another police department. Outside of the state, officials say it has proven to be a big success. Asa Tolliver has more.
This is 9-year-old pit bull mix CJ. He's been at the Heritage Humane Society since November. Most days he watches as families pass him by, but today he's got someone that's been waiting to meet him. CJ is going on a trip, and his road dog is Williamsburg Senior Police Officer Andrea Holliday.
She comes in first thing in the morning. We have her pick up one of our adoptable dogs, and they get the entire morning to go out and really explore Williamsburg.
It's all part of the Canine for a Day program through a partnership with the shelter and police department. The goal is to get a shelter dog exposed out in the community so it has a better chance at finding a forever home.
And all of the adoptable pets that she had taken out in 2019 have been adopted out.
And we're off.
CJ's first stop was a nice stroll down downtown Williamsburg.
They want to walk, to get their zoomies out, get their energy out, and they just have a great time.
Then it was time to buckle up again and make some new friends at City Hall.
And look who I have today. This is CJ.
Holliday says it's not only rewarding for the pup, but also those they meet along the way.
You should see people's faces when they stop, you know, they get the smile on their face as soon as you see them. So it's kind of makes other people's day too.
Then they hit other places like the police department and local businesses. And to top it all off, each dog gets to chow down on a cheeseburger.
I just think it's amazing that they get to go and experience what every dog should experience. You know, a home with a family that loves them and that they're going to be taken care of for the rest of their life.
The well-known child's toy for the budding artists in us all. The Etch-a-Sketch. While many of us spent hours just trying to use it to draw simple shapes, an India artist is using it to draw astonished reactions from her customers. Chris Sutter explains.
Carrie Johns is that chill artist. You'll find most days quietly humming her favorite tune.
I don't really like to be the center of attention too much.
And creating in her Floyd Snob studio surrounded by her impressive work.
I have a lot of anxiety, and so artwork kind of keeps me grounded and helps me breathe a little bit. Adulting is a little bit hard sometimes.
So she's taken the adulting out of all of this.
I would definitely think of myself as a big kid.
Her favorite medium has nothing to do with paint or a brush. A child's toy is what she's using for a canvas. You'll remember it well.
Hey, Etch, draw. Go!
The good old Etch-a-Sketch. Her work, though, is far from child's play. Like most of us, John started trying her hand at this when she was just a kid.
Just practice and practice and practice.
It didn't take long for her to get good.
I'm like anyone who can do that on an Etch-a-Sketch. I mean, I can't even make a box.
Now she can crank out a small Etch-a-Sketch piece of art in an hour or two, faster than Buddy the Elf can make them.
I made 85.
Just about everything you can think of, I've drawn.
The Coliseum, the greatest, this Louisville lady's first home.
Wow. I mean, that's really a wow piece.
Even some local newsman. Is this the ugliest Etch-a-Sketch you've ever done?
No.
When there are mistakes, she has no choice but to draw her way out of it or flip the Etch-a-Sketch over and start again.
There's been many times where I've had to erase something.
Believe it or not, there's part of this process that's tougher than the image itself, keeping the finished product intact for paying customers.
The best way to do it is just to cut the whole thing open and dump out all of the powder.
The drawing mechanisms have to go too. Johns goes all Tim the Tool Man Taylor with a saw to get it open.
You really have to be patient with it, so it kind of makes you slow down a little bit.
Every twist and turn of these knobs may be the respite Johns needs from a busy life, but her work is the flashback to a simpler time in childhood we could all use.
Let's take a look at today's random fact of the day.
Hi, I'm Stephen Jones with TV21's Random Fact of the Day. Did you know that a gallon of water weighs 8.34 pounds? For every 2.31 feet that water is raised above the Earth's surface, it can create 1 pound per square inch of pressure.
It's time to take a road trip around the world in our 60-second road trip. Can you guess where we are today?
It's now time for us to take a look at the dictionary.com's word of the day. Today's word is chanting, meaning effectively or hypocritically pious or righteous. And now for today's sentence. I hated that chanting slogan the very first time I heard it.
Now we are going to take a short break, but coming up, we take a look at our intermediate happenings.
And we also take a look at your weather, so stick around, we'll be right back.
Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction. Oh, beautiful release. Memories seep from my veins. Let me be empty. Oh, weightless, and maybe I'll find some peace tonight. In the arms of the angel.
Starting off intermediate happenings, if you're interested in participating in a spring sport, you must have an updated physical sports physical to expire. The last day to hand in the sports physical is on February 24th. No physical papers will be accepted after that date for spring sports. See the school nurses to check in on your sport physical status. Sports are baseball, softball, track, and field.
Reminder, we are still collecting coats for our coat drive. Please drop them off in the box located outside the main entrance hallway. It went so fast.
Now it's time for our environmental tip of the day. Each day we'll bring a tip that will help save the environment. Let's take a look at today's tip.
Hi, my name's Alyssa. Here's your environmental fact of the day. Put it to sleep if you'll be away for your computer for more than 20 minutes. Change it to sleep mode.
Every day on this show, we will be bringing you a tip of the day, so stay tuned tomorrow as we give you another way to help save the environment.
The U.S. is working to bring back Americans from Wuhan City, China, where the outbreak of the coronavirus started. More than 200 citizens are currently on their way back and expected to land at Ted Stevens International Airport in Anchorage, Alaska, to refuel. Right now, there's no cases of the coronavirus under investigation in Alaska, and all passengers will go through a screening process when they land. Matt Lesman reports.
Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport got an important notice this weekend.
So we're preparing for the ability to get a flight of these American citizens that are coming back to the United States.
240 Americans leaving Wuhan, China following the outbreak of the deadly coronavirus.
At the North Terminal, where we're going to have these people, is an isolated area, and it is not part of the main domestic terminal, which most people use for flights at Anchorage Airport.
But their flight doesn't end in Anchorage.
The airplane is planned to make a refueling stop in Ted Stevens International North Terminal Airport. This terminal is currently closed to the public.
All passengers and crew will be screened for the virus before getting on the plane, with another planned for the stop in Anchorage.
We are prepared to support them medically if necessary. We are also working closely with the CDC. So what happens to them will be determined on a case-by-case basis.
If anyone shows symptoms, local hospitals are prepared to take in patients.
We have rooms within the hospital that are designed to contain the virus and keep it from being spread.
So when does the flight arrive? U.S. Department of State says it leaves Wuhan Wednesday morning, China Standard Time, putting it at roughly Tuesday night or Wednesday morning in Anchorage, depending on the exact time it takes off.
There's always a chance that all the plans may change, but we're here to support them if this comes up.
Then on, hopefully with all of its passengers, to Ontario, California.
It is now time for another break. Coming up later in the show, we will take a look at your high school happenings.
Tom's Our Schools Today. We'll be right back.
But the butcher don't care if you live or if you die. But I've never touched nothing that my spirit could kill. You know, I've seen a lot of people walking around with tombstones in their eyes.
Machines can keep you breathing, all that happens when you
Starting off our high school happenings, attention students and staff. The school store is now open to serve you. We are stocked with all your Raider apparel needs, including Champion and Under Armour brands. The school store is open every day after school from 1:40 to 2 p.m. We also have Yoo-Hoo, Snapple, and water for $1, as well as many delicious snacks to get you energized for your after-school practices. Stop in soon. It's time to get Raiderized.
Also at High School East, obligation forms are available in the main office. You must have completed your obligation form in order to purchase your bid. The cost per couple is $70 and a single bid is $35. Completed bid paperwork must be completed and returned to the bagel booth by Friday, January 31st. Let's continue to look at our amazing teachers and stop in with Miss Daniel here at High School East.
I'm Charlie Zulin with TR Schools Today. We had a chance to interview Miss Daniel.
I grew up in a family full of educators and thought that it would be a great career path for me.
It's all over, bro. I'm telling you. Now I'm not going crazy, right?
I attended Rutgers University and I studied English and journalism with a minor in child psychology. My mom is a teacher and then an administrator, so I'm hoping to follow in her footsteps. I've been teaching for 16 years. Probably the students, they make me laugh every day or infuriate me every day. But every day is different, and I think that that's what's really cool about my job. Grading papers and lesson plans. Definitely the lesson plans. I change it up. I do different lessons, different projects. Group work. I'm very silly. I make fun of myself a lot, and I'll pretty much do anything to make sure that they're engaged in class. How to cover news stories, write news stories, edit. We follow current events. We see what's going on locally, nationally, internationally, and what makes good reporting and what makes not so great reporting. We do the Elf Letter Project every year, and that would probably be our biggest project. We write letters to children around the community, sometimes even in different states. They get a magical letter from the North Pole because I know Santa. I said that. I know Santa, and we write letters, and it's pretty awesome. It's a big project, and I think that I'd say most of my students enjoy doing it. Some are a little hesitant, so they get an alternate assignment to do.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Miss Daniel. I'm Charlie Zulin with TR Schools Today.
Are you looking for some excitement? Do you want to help others? Why don't you become an EMT for the Eastover First Aid Squad? EMT applications can be picked up in the safety office. Just see Safety Officer Kenny or Officer Hurst in the main office.
Attention all seniors and juniors, the prom fashion show is scheduled for Friday, February 7th at 7 p.m. Come out and enjoy all the prom fashions.
School North is accepting creative writing and our submissions from all students and staff for the 2020 edition of Polaris. Submissions can be turned in to Mr. Domino in BB7 or email them to trnpolaris@yahoo.com.
All Mariners, colleges visits have been scheduled for this month. Meetings with representatives helps you in your selection process. Come hear what colleges you're interested in have to offer. You must see Miss Rose in guidance to sign up in advance to attend. A list will be posted in your junior and senior English classrooms. And check the High School North website at trschools.com soon for the complete list each month.
Let's now take a look at what grinds our gears.
Hi, I'm Jessica Werbicki, and what really grinds my gears is when people drive under the speed limit.
It is now time for us to take a short break. After the break, we will take a look at your 3-day forecast.
Tom's River Schools Today will be right back.
Broken bottles in the hotel lobby. Seems to me like I'm just scared of never feeling it again. But I know it's crazy to believe in silly things, but it's not that easy. I remember it now, it takes me back to when it all first started. But I've only got myself to blame for it, and I accept it now. It's time to let it go out and start again. But it's not that easy. But I've got high hopes. It takes me back to when we started.
Wrapping up tonight's show, world leaders and Holocaust survivors gather at the site of the former Auschwitz concentration camp to mark 75 years since its liberation. In somber remembrance of the 1.1 million.
We are standing in front of the gate leading to the camp that claimed lives of the largest number of victims. The truth about the Holocaust must not die. The memory of Auschwitz must last so that such extermination is never repeated again.
The worst thing that I went through at the very beginning, well, it is hard to say actually what was more painful to me. Whether it was the process of tattooing a number on my arm or something else. I believe, though, that was what was the most hurtful for me was the loss of her, because the her gave me a sense of belonging to womanhood, and they were smooth. This hair was my own, and this criminal hand touched my hair. This crown of mine was taken away from me, and I was turned into this pitiful, sad creature. I remember naked women being driven in trucks from the barracks to a gas chamber. I can hear them screaming. I can hear it in my subconscious. I saw the suicide of prisoners who threw themselves on this electrified barbed wire fence.
People who learned that I had been an inmate of Auschwitz would ask me, "How do you think? It must have been only in Germany, or do you think it could happen somewhere else?" And then I told them, it can also happen in your country, in this land, when the civil rights are broken, when people do not obey the laws of minorities.
Well, that's a wrap. That wraps up tonight's show for Tom's River Schools Today. I'm Samantha Sicardo.
And I'm Taylor Clevin. Have a great night.